So I'm going to give you a homework assignment for you to do with your particular pair, whether it's Forex, options, whatever it is that you trade. I want you to practice this and see if you can identify the ideal entry points based off of my technique, okay? Let's see if you can do it in the comment section. Let me know if it was easy or hard. Now, I don't know if YouTube is going to allow this, but if you're able to share your chart below, let's see what you got. And don't be afraid. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I'll look at them and give you some corrections on my next video.
Let's get to it. So I pulled up a random stock, which is Google. And what I want you guys to do is see if you can identify a trend. So you can see we're moving up here and we're moving down here. Now, an easy way to do this is to convert your chart to a line chart by clicking on this link, and you can see it a little bit more clearly. Sometimes the candles can be a little confusing, but we want to get used to looking at candles. And again, you want to identify high, right? Low, high, low, high, low, high, low. This is essentially what you want to be able to do. So the tool I used was the paintbrush. And if you click on the fourth icon, it's the top one. So you just click on that and you can go ahead and draw and just see if you can identify it. Same thing for the uptrend. You have a high, a low, higher, low, higher, low, and so on and so on. Okay, so I want you guys to just do that first to see if you can identify a trend. If you start to see that it's not really giving you anything, like let's say something like this, where it's just moving sideways, oop, here we go, then it's not in a trend. And you either want to leave it alone or look for a spot where you can identify downward movement and upward movement. Anytime the market's moving sideways, we're not trading it, okay? So this is where patience comes into hand when trading. But what I want you to do is on the buys, I want you to identify each low on the buys. Now there's indicators that can help with this. If you are new, you may want to look into that. Some people are advanced and they like to use it, but I would like for you to see if you can do it. And anytime you identify a new high in an uptrend, I want you to take this arrow, okay? And this arrow is the second icon. You're going to click on arrow, and I want you to draw a line directly across, okay? So you're going to take that arrow and you're going to draw a line for each high that you can see, each obvious high that you can see. Don't force this. So for the buys, you're going to do it on each high. For the sells, okay, let me do this real quick. For the sells, you're going to identify each previous low, and you're going to do the same thing. So you see how here the market did not create a higher high. We started to switch direction. So for each sell, I want you to go ahead, or each low, excuse me, I want you to go ahead, and it's not going to be perfect. It is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. I just want to see if you can identify these. Now, stocks is not going to be as clean. Well, sometimes there's slippage with stocks. Forex, you'll get a little bit more cleanliness, but for the most part, I want to see first if you can identify this. Then what we're looking for is we're trying to identify what's called a break and a retest, meaning like, let's assume this is your arrow. You are essentially looking for it for the buy to come up, land on top, and it doesn't have to be directly on top, but land on top and shoot up. So we can do something like that, or it can just make a higher low above it and keep going. It doesn't have to necessarily touch it, okay? Then for the sell, what we're going to look for is for the market to come down, break through that floor, and make a lower high. So it can either touch it and continue, or it can come down and just make a higher low. It doesn't have to touch it perfectly and go down. That's ideally what we want to look for. Now, this little movement right here that we're looking for is essentially going to be our entry, and we call those the retests or the pullbacks. Okay, now there's different entry methods. I am a break and retest trader, meaning that I need to see my level broken. I need to see a new lower high formed if it's a sell to take it back down. When I take it back down, when I take it back down, I try to look for the next level of structure. So I try to take it at least to the previous low where I drew my arrow. If it breaks through that, great, I'll keep riding it out. But ideally, I like to get in at the top, take it right here. If it keeps moving down, okay, fine. If it hits my level multiple times, that usually is an indication that it's going to push down majorly. So if you start to see it doing that on the top, it will usually do that as long as it's not by a major level of support and resistance. And again, I discuss all this in my free course. Now for the buys, you're looking for the same thing. This is the previous high and you're looking for it to land on top. So that's going to be your retest. That's your entry area. Same thing here. Retest right here. This is your entry area. Same thing here. Retest. And remember how I said it doesn't perfectly land on top? Sometimes it'll make a higher low, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And if that does happen, what you want to see are those candles creating like its own little mini support, and that's going to help guide you on what to do next. Okay, so I do want you to do this. To share your chart, you're going to click on this camera button on the icon right here. Click copy link to chart. And once you do that, it will give you a link. So it shows you it's copied. It'll give you that link and you just paste it in the comment section and let's see what you have. If you are on a mobile device, what you're going to do on TradingView Mobile, let me double check. You're going to hit that plus sign. It's going to say share chart picture and you're going to scroll down to the second option. It's going to say copy link. You copy that link and you paste it. So I want you to identify the retest and make sure you have that market structure identified as well. And let's see how good you do.